Hey, what's up, guys? Dylan Sobbies here. Today I'm just gonna do a quick breakdown of like my opinion or a rant about like why I personally don't think that Ball needs a buff and why you should or shouldn't pull for Ball. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so my first impression of Ball is that she's essentially a big battery for every single character or characters with a high need for energy recharge. Now, the issue that a lot of people are having is that she doesn't really work with every single character out there. And there are speculations that it has to do with the need for normal attack damage or whatnot. So especially hinting at beta, where that's pretty much where everyone thought that Raiden's meta team comp would rely on. And I can't remember the YouTuber that I was watching, forgive me, but I think he mentioned that the speculations may be wrong in that like it's not about doing normal attack damage because of the fact that Beto's shields does do damage on shields, even though that's not really normal attack damage. And I personally think that's not right, just because technically shields do take damage, or it does account for normal attack damage, because if you do more damage, the shield does end up taking a little bit more damage, if that makes sense. So yeah, but just continuing my rant about like my impression of Ball. In my opinion, I think she will always be viable, and I don't know who that is, and that it kind of depends on like now the definition of meta versus viable and what people want out of a character, right? So technically, in my opinion, viable means being able to use a character to 36 star Abyss, because that's essentially the only end game content that we have. And in my opinion, she is more than definitely good at doing that, sufficient at doing that. She is definitely viable. She has relatively high damage output, and even if currently the current characters don't all fit with her, and she doesn't have like, she isn't able to do her job as an energy recharge character, supplying especially off-field Q damage characters. There will be other characters in the future where she will be viable. It's not just about the current characters here. It's like an investment towards the future characters, and what other characters may or may not come out. You never know. But the fact that she is such a good battery for any kind of off-field character, which tends to be what the meta revolves around, super high damage output off-field characters, she is bound to be viable at some point. I know people were talking about that every character like has some kind of pairing that they need to be like super meta, quote unquote. But I mean, since my definition is to like just being able to 36 star Abyss, I use Overload Hu Tao. I don't even use Vape Tao. So I just think it's always possible. It's just like partially a matter of skill and partially a matter of just luck with your artifacts and having like some kind of strategy with the Abyss. Although I would be lying to you if I thought that this game was very strategy oriented. But I do think that Ball is viable, and I don't really think she needs a buff. I don't think every single Archon needs to be super OP or super game breaking. You should just pull for Baal if you like her. So that kind of brings me to the point where there's basically reasons why I think you should pull her and reasons why you shouldn't pull her. I think the only reason why you shouldn't pull her is if you don't like her, or if you don't have. Okay, well, I guess not the only reason. So if you don't like her, or if you don't have any off-field DPS, or if you don't want to wait for more diverse comps to come out, or if you don't want to try to make your own like kind of creative comp. The reasons why you should pull her is that like she's an investment. She's definitely something that will become good in the future. Another reason you should pull her is if you just obviously straight up like the character. She's pretty badass and she has a boob sword, right? Like, come on, right? Like, I guess if you do have off-field characters that could benefit from her Q, that would be another reason. Especially if you have someone like Eula who actually does a lot of damage with her Q. I think one of the other points that I didn't cover before was just that the fact that there is a cooldown with people's Q, that's actually part of what's preventing I believe Baal from doing well, just because of the fact that even if she happens to recharge, oh my god, she looks so angry, what the heck, sorry, even if she's able to recharge someone's low cooldown or low energy Q as quickly as possible, you're not able to use it because of the fact that it's like blocked behind some kind of overall cooldown. I don't know if that makes sense, but it made sense in my head. And the thing is, like, I think it kind of goes like beyond just this. It goes into like the whole mihoyo's development or mihoyo's coding is like really weird, and I think it's like they don't really think about the overall arching theme, where it's like because of things like this, you don't really get a lot of creativity with your builds, since everything is blocked behind this artificial difficulty. But that's another rant for another time, where everything is time based and there's just not too many options you can do other than big numbers go burr. Yeah, and it's just kind of like the fact that a lot of their coding is like weird and mushy, and like if like for example the fact that like Beto's Q doesn't work with it, or for example if like the different elements that apply more or have priority over another, and the fact that like you have to use Xingqiu because of his hydro and because of the way that he is able to proc so much hydro on enemies, I think is like definitely I feel like it's a bug, or I feel like it's not something that should happen. I feel like no element should actually have priority over the other, but because it is the way it is, mihoyo pretty much just went, all right, fuck it, like that's just what it is. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I think it's just part of the game, and honestly it's pretty sad. But those are just my thoughts on Baal and why I personally don't think she needs a buff, or at least she doesn't need a big buff, and why I think that if you actually still like the design of the character, and if you still like the character itself, I think you should just go ahead and pull for her. I'm probably going to leave most of this video unedited, maybe put some background music. Put me on 2x speed, I don't care. But yep, have a good day. Peace.